So when we see the Maker return, I want him to live up to being this shadowy threat.
Yeah. What if he's just a nice guy?
What if he's just a nice guy?
What if he's just
chill
a nice
guy.
guy?
Yeah.
He's
Just,
just
just a
like,
chill
"Hey, what's up,
guy.
That's
guys?"
worse. You know what? Do that.
Hey.
Do that. Friends, a year ago, a diabolical mastermind known as the Maker, an alternate universe version of Reed Richards, invaded a brand new universe and systematically prevented heroes from becoming superheroes. In 1 year, he will return. The Ultimates are assembling. Here we are. Welcome, friends, to Ultimate Countdown. So do we want to talk about Ultimates, Ultimate Universe 1 year and first, or do we want to talk about Ultimates 7 and 8?
I think we should do Ultimates 7.
Let's do 7 and
It's
8.
gonna circle back together. Yeah.
It's fine. All right, let's talk about 7 and 8. 7 is kind of like a chill issue. We're kind of just everybody's kind of recovering after the fight with Hulk and the Children of Eternal Light.
Washed.
And Tony is incapacitated right now. Doom is reeling from that. Doom is trying to figure out what to do. And Cap and Human Torch are kind of just sort of like going through the city while the different heroes of the Ultimates Network are going and doing their own individual missions, essentially. I don't think that there was anything else of major note that happened in 7. Am I missing something?
We had the Hawkeye stuff with him going around to weapons stuff. American Chavez shows up, which, by the way, that suit, I was like, man, that's a good character design.
Mhm.
I don't even know much about the character outside of, Multiverse of Madness, stuff like that, but I was like, that is a nice character design. I do like Hawkeye had some better dialogue. Not much to say, but I do like the idea that like they're kind of not divided, but they're all kind of like off doing their own thing right now, but trying to keep a low profile. I really did enjoy a lot of that. I think 7 is the one when we got the Hank Pym conversation. Yeah, I do like see kind of like that whole like guilt where like look at like this is kind of our fault, which is why I brought up like the whole like they're obviously in New York because we have Father Murdoch talking.
Oh yeah,
I was
that's
like,
right.
Yep.
That's why I was like, they're in New York right now. They're chilling. Like this is the memorial thing. So I was like, what's going on with this? That's why I'm like, I'm okay with Spider-Man not being brought into the Ultimates, but I'm like, at least you're in the city. Like, I just kind of like that everyone's kind of going through like their own thing. Like, I kind of like Cap and Robot Human Torch, like kind of going to the bar and he's bringing up how like he got beat up, in the back alley. And this, I was like, oh, like, so it's kind of like, and then just talk about, I don't need a map. It's on your phone. I don't need that either. It's like, I just need to get my bearing straight, so he's still adjusting to like, the different time. It's like, there's a lot of little things in character stuff for a once again, another non-action heavy comic.
Yeah.
And I kind of needed that wind down.
Yeah. I also really appreciated this. It was a good reset. And I think this was a good teaser for Cap eventually just taking over the team. Because, Tony, I mean, I like Tony, but
he's incapacitated.
He's incapacitated. The conversation with Hank Pym and Old Girl, after reading 1 year in, I'm sorry, I'm looking at that conversation a little differently. I don't trust this woman. I'm sorry. Actually, no, time out. I don't trust Hank. I don't trust Hank.
Why?
I don't trust him. Robot Human Storm. Or Johnny Storm, or whatever his name is.
Jim Hammond. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's possible because like Johnny Storm. I'm thinking about that constantly. Like I gotta get used to new names for new characters. Like not Clint.
I'm sorry. I don't trust Hank.
Why don't you trust Hank?
Because I think Hank is his current mind state. He is easily susceptible to be mind fucked with.
Okay.
It's right there.
What conversation got you? I might have missed it.
So when they're at the memorial,
it sounds like
he's already showing signs of regret.
There you go.
He feels like they're maybe not doing the right thing. Maybe they shouldn't be doing this. All the doubt. It's like it's easy to be like, when you feel like that, it's like, what's the thing you want? What's going to resolve it? Oh, the other side. They be easier. Like, let's find an out.
It's opposite ends. Like the way she's bouncing off against him. It's almost as if, she's two for the cause.
Let me see if I understand this. Because of the events of 1 year in, you think that Janet and Hank are possibly sleepers?
One of them.
think
or
okay, one of them. Okay.
I think Camp is purposely, at least for me, I think he's purposely fucking with me.
You.
I think he's purposely fucking with me with this.
Very
Why?
specifically.
Yes.
You and
yes.
I know I'm sitting and I'm looking like a therapist right now, but
I'm sorry.
If we're gonna do this where you think that the comic is talking to you, I'm gonna charge you for the session.
No. Row is the point, because Hawkeye's dialogue has changed since our last video.
No, you're right. Yep, it's very interesting. I didn't make that connection.
But then again, I didn't get any DMs. I didn't get any checks. I didn't get no PayPals. I didn't get no Apple Pay. So my consultation fee was not covered.
Yeah,
because the only reason why I can't see it as anybody, I think Cap. I can't see it for Cap. I'm sorry, dude. You were fucking frozen for God knows how long. There's no way. There's no way. Tony, no, absolutely. He's out of commission.
What about Human Torch?
I think that's
he
just boring.
He is also from the 40s. Cap says you're the same age as me.
Yeah, and I don't know. Something about that doesn't seem too compelling to me.
Okay.
Like we literally just got introduced to him last issue.
What about She-Hulk?
No.
Nah.
Yeah,
she's too angry about her people. That conversation with Doom though was really cool, like stopping her from trying to go back, and he's like, "Listen, like you go back there, they can trace it back here. They can deep reach in your mind and see it." And I was like, he's really they set up this threat of the makers, like peoples and everything, like so good without like having to show like just brute strength from them. Like I still like think that whole Hulk fight stuff was great. Yeah. So I was just like, I like they're like I said, this book, not a lot of action at all, actually, but like the conversation wise is just there's so many bouncing characters all having conversations with a purpose, moving. We're getting an overall plot for the Ultimates, and then we have individual character motivations, fears, everything else. And I wish that, I was like, Camp's doing really good with this. Like
it's a good book.
Yeah,
it's a cool book. Yeah,
and we did. I don't want to touch back to another point I made. I forgot I did mention before. I mentioned about how Cap's leadership. This could be a mix of Cap and Doom, but I do like the fact that even though that Tony is gone, the Ultimates are still active. The fact that Hawkeye is over there destroying weapons that are supposed to be sent to Wakanda.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I saw Sai's face light up. Yeah, so sorry, there's a moment in Ultimates where Hawkeye just infiltrates this boat, and then so the weapons are supposed to be sent over to Wakanda. That's what Ron Contra were gonna use against T'Challa, but Hawkeye is the one that just fuck you guys, boom.
So T'Challa doesn't even know, because we still haven't had any tie-in. Like T'Challa hasn't even mentioned the Maker and doesn't even know who he is.
No.
That bothered me after a year, but I digress. I'm gonna let y'all keep talking.
That's why I stopped reading it, because I was just like, and that's why I brought up all these characters in one book. Same with Spider-Man, a lot of characters, a lot of moving parts, dialogue, pacing, everything's on point. Why isn't Black Panther getting treated like that?
Yeah, but also the X-Men.
I mean,
yes,
we started seeing little ties to it though, even before 1 year in. So like X-Men is at least trying.
Yeah.
Black Panther, on the other hand, it's happening in a different book.
Yeah.
It's like on autopilot, but not.
Yeah.
Number 8.
Issue 8?
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys gonna have to carry this one. I only read it once and it was confusing.
I read it once. It was very confusing. It was a lot for one issue. It was basically just sort of giving the whole history of the Guardians, but focusing more so on Captain Marvel and her relationship with America Chavez, and essentially that America Chavez was part of the team. These guys came from the future, and they were like, everything that you're doing isn't going to work. Come back with us. Let's do things our way. Let's resume our relationship, a little bit of hanky-panky, all that sort of stuff. America Chavez not having any of it. That is the long and short of it.
Yeah.
Am I correct, Mark?
Basically, also America Chavez doesn't have any memories, and
yes, that too.
I don't like the character design of any of the Guardians except for the goodest boy, the only
I like
dog.
Nullifier. Character design of Nullifier is cool. Star-Lord is unique.
Yeah, I just don't like the designs. They're unique,
Captain Marvel's just a blue girl.
Yeah, I just like the goodest boy because when all other dogs had evolved and ascended above humans, he stayed behind to protect humans because he is the ultimate goodest boy. And I thought that was a nice pun on the word ultimate. So I was like, this dog is great. I don't know what happened to his leg, but no, that's the gist of it. Like and then they just dip out and they give America like a transponder, and they're like a flare, like a time flare. It's time shenanigans. It was a lot of wasted pages with unintentional big words that weren't needed
to probably springboard their own book, which is probably not going to happen. I hope not, unless it is a 3 or 4 issue mini.
Yeah,
it has to be tight.
Getting
middle end, not an ongoing.
And nothing more. One shot and that's it. I don't want anything else.
Or one shot. That's fine too.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
Mark. There's such a weird issue because like there's so many good things about it. Like the number one thing is I liked when Star-Lord went through the camera to confront Doom.
Yeah, that was
and he's
cool.
like,
oh yeah,
and basically the premonition, like one of you can save everything, or one of you is going to destroy everything, and I don't know which one is it. Then we had a nice little reference: the man in the iron mask and the man in the iron lung. And I thought that I laughed at that, even though I know it was supposed to be funny. I found it funny. Like, but there's a lot of, but other than that, that's really it was just okay. Here's the Guardians. Let's waste all these pages, and I say wasted, and I mean that disrespectfully. On just a whole dialogue sequence of their whole entire history all the way up to the 61st century, and then time shenanigans stuff. And I'm like, okay, well, unless they're getting a one shot or any of this stuff they're saying about their future matters and has something to do with this, because all they know is we know how this ends, she says, and it's not gonna work.
Well, hold on a second. There is a common thread here. The common thread is that it is possible that the Ultimates are being disillusioned by Tony's mission statement, right? So like we were talking about Hank and Janet, and I'm going off the assumption that maybe they weren't replaced, but they are getting disillusioned because of their failure. We're now seeing two sort of opposing views of Jim Hammond and Steve Rogers as well. We're all, and in this book, like we're getting the Guardians to basically be like, hey, what your plan not working. America, come back with us. F this whole mission or whatever. So like we are getting like some disillusionment of the true mission. Whereas we're with Doom for 2 issues straight now, we have zoomed in on Tony's chrysalis or whatever. Yeah. With
we
Doom,
haven't seen much of him in action.
No, we haven't seen him in action at all. But basically, Doom has basically been just hovering over it and being like, I want to push the button. I want to push the time button. I want to push the time button. But I was told not to push the time button and do all that sort of stuff.
I hope he pushes the time button. I like time buttons.
So I do like the common thread of the disillusionment there.
Yeah. Well, my thing is we just didn't need that many pages dedicated to our Captain Marvel talking with all those big words, where I feel like some of those words weren't real words. I'm just going to say it. I feel like some of those were made up words. I didn't look them up in the dictionary, but a lot of that does not sound like real science. And I just don't think, like, I get it because they're setting up some of America Chavez's backstory and kind of explaining her origins and why she's there, because I like the character, especially after issue 7. I was like, okay, America Chavez is pretty badass. She's over there just thinking about it, sent all those kids and protesters back to their homes, like magic. And I was like, that's pretty cool. She could be like the OP character of the group now, but I just don't want it to be one of those things. It's like, okay, the Guardians obviously are going to come back. The question is when and what kind of impact. Because as of right now, I was like,
there is another thing.
That was a lot of pages.
There's another thing too. One of the pages we see Kang. We see like a very far-flung future with all the different clones and all the different, basically what we saw back in that 4-issue Ultimate Invasion. We see all of that. That is what the future looks like. And also, my prevailing theory, and I think it's pretty much everybody's prevailing theory, Kang is Iron Lad. It's Tony. Kang is Tony.
What if it was Howard?
Because when he took off the mask of Kang in Ultimate Invasion, he said it's like looking at something that you believed in and being disappointed.
I still never read Ultimate Invasion. I gotta get the trade for that.
Wait, time out. Right. So you're saying you think Kang is Tony, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but is it? Oh, so you're saying this is a future version of Tony?
Yes.
Time shenanigans.
We
get.
They tried to do. My thought process is that they've tried to do this Ultimate Network, and they've tried so hard and everything like that, and then. But it led to them getting power hungry or something.
Okay, because I had a completely different thought.
Okay.
Because I'm not going to hold you. There is Kang stuff happening in the Avengers book. Part of me was thinking, in a crazy way, that shit could kind of be connect, like the Kang we're dealing with over here could possibly in some way or another be the Kang we're dealing with in the old. I could be completely wrong. Yeah,
I think they would.
I think it
this
would
is
be
too
too
separate.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I hope I'm wrong. Okay, good.
Also,
okay.
I feel like that would be detrimental to Camp and Hickman and everything they're doing right now with the Ultimate Universe, because it's like I wouldn't want to tie into any regular
this
stuff.
This page right here,
I love that page.
Are all these are all characters from the Ultimate Invasion trade paperback.
Okay.
I was getting Iron War, like Armor War vibes from it, because there's multiple Iron Man suits. They look like they have minions that have like kind of exo suits on them. So I'm like, now I feel like that could give credence to the Tony side of him being Kang.
The Guardians also, but the Guardians also are not saying the Maker. They're saying the Unmaker.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. I'm like, what happened in their future? What's like?
I think that when they say the Unmaker, they're referring to Kang, which is Iron Lad. That is my prevailing theory. We'll see if I'm right by the time I'm 38 years old.
So, okay, here's my thing.
Wait, I'm trying to do the math. I'm like, will I be 39 or 40? Damn.
Here's my thing with this issue. Like, I felt like I was reading this was the first time where I felt like my head was hurting when I read it. And that was one of the things that I gave praise to back then. Because like, I'm reading something, cool. Hickman didn't make my head hurt finally. Yeah, we got it. This one made my head hurt. Like that's why I was very happy to get to this issue, and I would have Mark or Ben just take care of it because
there's an entire possibility that me and Mark were wrong, by the way.
That was my thought process. I was gonna let you two talk about that stuff, and I was just gonna talk about the pretty colors and
but
the dialogue.
I don't know. When it comes to stuff like this is why I don't know. It's probably one of the reasons why I'm not the biggest fan of the Guardians, like outside of the movie or whatever.
Me neither.
Yeah. So, but
I've tried. It's just very hard because it's like we're very far flung in the future, but that's fixed or it's not fixed, and that's I don't know.
Yeah, like the movie made them change the Guardians so much post the first film.
Yeah.
Whereas like I read some of the older stuff for the Guardians and I was like, it's not bad. This is actually really cool. But it's like none of the characters are in the movie really, and this and that. And then they kind of just went out there. And then I'm like, why the disrespect for Howard the Duck? Why don't we have more Howard the Duck stuff? And then I'm hung up on Howard the Duck. And then I'm going back and watching the live action of that. And I'm like, this is peak cinema.
Right,
and then I'm just hung up on the Duck.
We're done. We're done with the Duck.
5 times, but it's fine.
Fine.
All right. Ultimate Howard the Duck needs to be a thing. I'll write it. Hickman, hire me.
I think the big takeaway was that here are these new characters. They went through some shit, but they have a common thread with America Chavez, in that America Chavez was part of their team until she was abducted and then worked in the White House.
Yeah.
Which is a weird
and
thing
also
to say.
their whole like universe being destroyed And then also them trying to do time stuff. And they're like, well, what happens if, and like, no, we have a machine that we can prune timelines and fix. And it's like, oh, so I feel like there's a lot of stuff where I don't like to speculate, especially after reading an issue like this. I like kind of like take stuff at face value, but I'm sitting there like, okay, this little device, like, why would they bring this device up? Maybe
the time beacon.
Yeah, where they could like,
it's basically just
timelines.
Hey, you need help? Need friends?
Yeah, I think that's what I took it as.
No.
Yeah.
That's the beacon, the flare that they gave. I mean, I'm talking about the device that he said literally. She's like, well, if you do all this, we're going to be erased. He's like, no, we can isolate and trim timelines.
Oh,
there's another item he had. Yeah, that little box thing.
Yeah, the one that Doom was talking about.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. This is when you start to lose me. This is
right.
I'm sorry.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm like, and I'm
yeah.
trying not to read into things. I take everything at face value with comics because you never know with the writing process. But I'm just sitting there, I'm like, there's so much stuff in this, and I'm like, well, what's throwaway? What matters? Like when I'm reading Spider-Man or even issue 7, we got a lot of conversations, and you could sit there from the conversation, be like, okay, this is their dynamic, this is how they're feeling. But when you get the situation with the Guardians explaining stuff in America, Chavez, I'm like, all right, there has to be a point to this.
Right.
Besides giving us a backstory, you wouldn't dedicate this much of a comic to just her backstory and why she doesn't remember things and what she doesn't remember.
Yeah.
And also there's one thing that was kind of like quick and like not when was it Thor and freaking Sif and they were talking about All-Father Loki and I'm like, oh, I need to see All-Father Loki.
Well, we already knew that was that happened.
Oh, I know, but I need to see it. I need to see it.
Yeah, I mean, eventually we'll go back to Asgard, I hope. Let's move on to Ultimate Universe, 1 year in. Written by Camp, with art from a Power Rangers alum, Jonas Scharf.
Hey! I know I recognize that somewhere.
Yeah.
Good art in the comic, too. This was a good issue.
Yeah.
It fits.
It absolutely fits.
Yeah.
This issue introduces us to Nick Fury, who has gone on espionage missions and has had such a life well lived, or so we thought, or so we think.
Poor guy.
Yeah, poor bastard. He's been through it. He has gone and betrayed the Makers Council, and he's just cloned and cloned again, and then retrofitted all the memories. We get a little bit more of understanding of the Makers Council. In particular, a focus on some members that we haven't really spent any time with. Emmanuel da Costa, who is using his son Roberto da Costa as a blood boy. And we get the Rasputins, who will be in control of their Winter Soldier, the Wolverine. We also get a little bit more from the leaders of Hinokuni, which is the land of the sun over in Japan, and they are in control of what's going on in the X-Men book.
Children of Adam.
Yep, the Children of Adam. I believe that's it. Was there any other special characters that
Hinokuni, they could be future recruits of the Ultimates.
Yeah.
So that's their little subtle tie-in nod. That comic started off so crazy though when they took out that father just because he said, "Hey, you know what? Maybe the Ultimates. What if they're onto something here?"
Yeah,
and it like out of nowhere, it's just boom. And
I thought I was reading like
what
the
was
wrong
going
book.
on.
I was like, oh, he's going to take out a terrorist like a bad guy. Oh,
yeah,
got it. I know the book I'm reading now.
Yeah, I was just like,
yeah.
I liked it because normally in our 616 world, everybody's like the Avengers. Yeah, you know, they're the good guys, but these guys are actively making it so that these guys stay looking like terrorists. Like they have a whole, they have like a whole.
They have an information dispersion system.
Yeah, it's almost kind of like a better version of Absolute Power that DC just did. That's just like a whole misinformation campaign.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like this issue. It was really good. I also like it serves as a prologue to Ultimate Wolverine. So everything here is going to continue it, and I like that because I was like, how do you just jump in and just start a new book in the Ultimate Universe? Like, what you just gonna like? We're a year in, everything's in the double digits, 10 to 12 issues, and I was like, well, and I was when I saw to be continued Ultimate Wolverine 1, I'm like, good. this makes sense to have the 1 year in, which is Nick Fury heavy, but has all the whole Makers Council involved.
Which informs year 2.
Yes.
By introducing those council members that we really have not spent time with. No. And like you just said, Wolverine.
Yeah. And I like that it was kind of an introduction to all of them too.
Yeah.
Like this had a lot in it, but it was such a condensed story.
Yep.
To basically Nick Fury, once again, the ultimate spy, double agent, turning on them.
Yep.
Which led to some great dialogue towards the end when they were like, he goes to do the explosion. They all just start laughing at him.
Yeah, they're like we sometimes watch your deaths at parties. Like we just enjoy it.
That was so good. That was wild.
Like, this is why I like the Maker, because it's like, I mean, what he did to Doom was fucked up. We are not going to revisit that conversation. But right I think what's happening here with Nick Fury is, I think it might be on the same level.
It's diabolical. It's fucked up.
Because it's like, it's literally, you have a bunch of Nick Furies who think they're doing something.
Yeah.
They all think, oh my God, yeah, I'm going to one up with them. All you're doing is helping them.
They all think that they're doing something righteous.
And in their defense, they are.
Yeah.
But you're not.
Pointless.
It's pointless. And then all you're doing, and it feels like, I think what's the scary part about 1 year in is just like, how many Nick Furies did you go through to get what we got today?
Yeah.
That's really scary.
Yeah. One of the things that I did think about, though, I reread this book and I was like, the Maker is the most interesting character in the Marvel universe, in my personal opinion, right now.
Yeah.
I think he's the most interesting character where we aren't seeing him. We're not seeing him be active, but we're seeing his machinations, which makes me a tiny bit concerned when he does come back into play. Will he live up to that?
Oh,
you know what I mean?
That's funny, because what I was about to say, if right now y'all don't have anything to match up the hype, keep him away. Keep him away. So I trust Camp. I trust Hickman, because once we see the Maker's face in one of these comic books, just know hell needs to break loose.
Yeah.
Has to break loose.
Yeah.
Like
I am my personal opinion of Ultimate Invasion is that the first 3 issues were great, but the finale of it was a little messy. It could have been the art. I don't know. But I feel like that wasn't the end for the Maker that I felt could have been grander, in my opinion. So when we see the Maker return, I want him to live up to being this shadowy threat.
Yeah. What if he's just a nice guy?
What if he's just a nice guy?
He's just a nice guy.
Yeah.
He's just a chill guy.
That's worse. You know what? Do that. Do that. That's worse.
Just completely laid back, no emotion.
That's scarier.
Very methodical.
Yeah.
No raising the voice, no yelling, no exclamation points in the dialogue, all lowercase dialogue. Just, he was like, oh, good. I'm glad.
Or he's fucking home already, and that this is all just a simulation. He's just going to hit the button.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair,
he wasn't even really trapped the whole time.
Yeah,
he was just seeing what they would do as an experiment.
Yeah.
If we're being honest, all he wanted was just to go back home. He just
wanted to go back home.
Yeah. And if we're being fair, he's trapped at home.
Yeah.
He literally could just be hanging out, just fucking. Hey, I got what I wanted. Like, look at all these guys
on the PS5 playing Marvel Rivals.
Yeah. He's like, trapped in the city. I want to know, is that dome going to open, and is that city going to be thriving? What's happening in that city? What's going on?
It's like super futuristic.
Yeah.
Or it's all like chill
hippie,
like hammocks and RVs.
Like, I want to see like what happened.
Yo, what if they're just having a ball? They're literally
having a great
just
time,
chilling.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be mad at that. Like, I would actually laugh.
Like 5 minutes pass in it. Yeah, no time at all.
And then it's like, guys, we're having a good time. The end. All the books end right there.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, come on, let's be honest. Hickman's not staying here forever. Come on.
Yeah.
Well, anyway,
one thing though,
we
didn't touch on was towards the end of it, before the Wolverine Winter Soldier reveal. They have their Winter Soldier and Sentinels over there.
Yes, they did say Winter Soldiers and Sentinels.
Yeah.
And when Magic said that, right?
Yeah, and then when they talk also about their Winter Soldier, they even say, because I wanted to make sure I had the direct quote. One, they had they created Directorate AX, and I was like, was that Charles right there? And I was like, it's just a bald dude. I didn't know. But then on the next page, when they said 4 surgeons died trying to administer the sedative, it took an Omega level telepath.
So the 4 horsemen.
So I was like, okay. So we have Charles there, because that's obviously got to be Charles then. And I was like,
or Cassandra.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it appeared to be a dude. I don't know. The artwork, subjective. Art.
I want to say this too. Like, I like that all this X-Men stuff that we know is kind of happening here. And Peach Momoa can still cook the way she fucking wants.
She's doing all that.
X-Men.
Yeah.
Yes. 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 Give me more of that shit.
I will wait until next time when we record to talk about Ultimate X-Men. Hopefully everyone will read up on it because it's good.
I am catching up.
So good.
I am catching up.
So good.
And we will have
the binge consumption of it is good.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, yes.
It is. And I think I'm on issue number 4 now. So still behind.
You got a ways.
I got a ways. And then we've got Ultimate Wolverine coming up.
Yes.
And
another Ultimates too, right?
And another Ultimates. Look, the hope is that we are going to resume this a little bit more regularly. Obviously, with the holidays, things go tits up. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Anyway, Sai, you've been characteristically silent.
Sai's just been like catching up this entire time.
Yeah. How you doing?
I'm okay.
Okay.
What are you eating?
Nothing. Sorry, I was watching TikTok videos.
I get it.
You were watching TikTok videos on the Ultimate Universe. Yo, look at you doing your homework.
I haven't been reading.
It's fine. It's fine. It's a lot. It's a lot you got to catch up on.
It's a lot.
Does anybody else have any thoughts about what we've discussed tonight? Black Panther, Spider-Man, Ultimate Universe, 1 year in.
It was a good month. It was a good 2-3 months.
Yeah.
It's been really.
Yeah.
Except for Black Panther, it's been a solid.
For Black Panther, yeah, sagged a little.
Because I noticed you only mentioned 2 names, Ro, on people you have faith in, and there's 3 writers right now in the Ultimate, or 4. But Peach Momoko's that they're doing their own thing over there. You didn't mention Hill at all in the writers you have faith in. You only said Hickman and Camp. So
no. I meant for the overall. Like the main story of the Ultimate Universe, because we know it's those 2.
It's okay to say Hill's writing bad. I'll say Hill's writing bad right now.
Hill's not doing good right now. Yeah, I could be honest about that. It's not working. But
they're not reaching the potential.
I would rather a book about Ra and Khonshu at this point.
I wouldn't
be okay with that, but that's too many books now. Like I'm
not saying an additional. I'm just saying.
Oh, it's having it replaced
of Black Panther. Yeah.
Oh no, I feel like that would be more intriguing though, because Moon Knight's history and everything else would comic. Like, it'd be nice to actually have like a new fresh start and a fresh take on that, where it's taken like seriously in a Ultimate Universe situation.
Yeah.
I feel like Black Panther needs it more because Moon Knight is on a great run right now. McKay is kicking ass. He is kicking so much ass right now, but like T'Challa is the one that needs the help. Well, Black Panther in general needs the help,
and that shouldn't be the case. And that shouldn't be the case.
It shouldn't be. No. But,
year 2 of Ultimate BP will be starting this month, and year 2 of Ultimate Spider-Man will be starting this month, and we will see how year 2.
Oh no,
the Ultimate Hunt, and I love the name of that, Ultimate Hunt. I'm like, that's a good.
Yeah,
it's a good start for year 2.
We have to wait until February for the next Ultimate Black Panther.
Oh shit! All right, fine.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
that is it for tonight. Join us next time with the newest issues in the Ultimate Universe. I am your host, Dr. Ben. Everybody, sign off.
Peace.
Oh, you meant like I thought you meant. I was
Yeah,
like,
say your outro. I don't. Whatever.
I'm Mark. I don't have an outro. I don't have a catchphrase.
It's your boy, Roliver Queen.
Yes,
and I'm out.
It's Sai.
Yes.
Bye, y'all.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Like and subscribe. Much love. Thanks.